video. Okay, so a little bit of a late start to filming today, but I figured today would be the perfect opportunity to tell a little bit of a story time around how we raised our first round of financing. So to start things off, I'll actually give a little summary on what it is that we actually do by kicking it back to an older video that I made to explain what July is all about. For those that don't remember us, my name is Wells, and I'm the founder of July. So you and I have probably spoken over the last year and a half or 2 years, which is why I'm even sending you this video. But let me catch you up to speed with what we've been up to in the next 10 seconds. From a high level, we build software to help digital talent management agencies automate their back office, everything from analytics, reporting, to payments. And I started July because I used to build direct-to-consumer brands around content creators, ended up becoming very good friends with these folks, became their pseudo managers, and then built a piece of software to automate what I was doing to help manage their back office. That spun out into July. We raised a small pre-seed from some incredible investors, ended up pivoting our product to focus on B2B with agencies, and finally started to see that revenue graph tick up and to the right. Okay, so here was the cut and dry story of how we raised our $2.3 million. Basically, our fundraising actually happened in two parts. So when I first moved to the city to start building July, I actually had started the company with all the savings that I had in my account. And so we had a few months of runway where I could actually pursue this idea full time. And during that time, we actually started to apply to a number of different accelerators that I thought would help us sort of get to that next stage. And the one that we came across, which is what I think now to be one of the best programs in the country, was a program called Z Fellows. And what Z Fellows is it basically offers you essentially a 1 week accelerator program. It says, don't quit your job, don't drop out of college, but basically spend 1 week pursuing your idea full time and get a free $10,000. I guess it's not free, it's more of an investment into your business to see where it can go in 1 week. And so we applied to that program, ended up getting in. And as we were applying for that accelerator, the founder of the accelerator actually offered to write our first check. Crazy experience, crazy opportunity, crazy energy. I'll show a few clips from what it is that actually felt like in that moment.
Yep, I'll do that.
Perfect. Talk soon, guys. Looking forward to it.
Give me a hug.
God damn.
We just raised $150,000. Yo! Insane. But basically, we now had a legitimate business that people believed in us, and it wasn't just ourselves. I say us because I actually had originally founded this with another person named Kyle, still one of my best friends. Made a video on that. We'll link it here. But we now had sort of an extra 6 months or an extra few months of runway to get us to that next stage. And what that next stage was actually something that I had to figure out by talking to our existing investors or our new investors who had been to that stage before. And so the three metrics that we came up with in order for us to raise a multi-million-dollar venture-backed seed or pre-seed round was we needed a sexy and functioning MVP. We needed a technical co-founder or CTO, someone to help me sort of build the product away from its original prototype. And then we needed 10 unaffiliated paying users that were in love with the product. Obviously the metrics are different based on the industry, based on the stage that you're at, based on your traction. But for us, that's what we were focusing on. And so we kind of just ignored everything else for the first 6 months of building that business just to focus on those core issues. A few things came up during that time, ended up losing Kyle as my co-founder. About 8 days ago, the day before we left for the trip, I got a text from Kyle saying that he doesn't think he can co-found July with me. So he is still one of my best friends. We're still very good friends. He is now the founder of another successful company. But basically I was on my own for those 6 months and then working with a few other people that were close friends to try and just sort of grind down on that. It took about 6 months to find our founding engineer, took about 6 months to get those initial customers that loved us, and took about 6 months to finish that initial I guess, sexy and functioning MVP. But once we hit those milestones, we went out to raise our first official round of financing. So what that looked like was we ran a process. I used the contacts from our initial investors to try and book as many calls as possible in a short amount of time as possible, and created a sort of a script for what my pitch looked like, created our deck and assets, and then went out and had, I think probably it ended up being like 80 to 90 different investor calls before we got our first term sheet. But basically what that process looks like is you need to have some sort of deck to explain to investors that, hey, this is what we're doing. We're raising a round of financing. We want to have these conversations. Are you open to what it is that we're building? And then you run a process, which means you book as many calls as possible in a short amount of time as possible. For us, we got those introductions through other founder friends. We got those introductions through our existing investors. We just tried to stack it in a way where let's say we put it in a 3-week process. First week was introductions that weren't necessarily the most important. We kind of used those as a practice round. Second week was, okay, here are some investors that we really care about, some people that we'd be lucky enough to work with. And then the third week is, okay, here are all the heavy hitters. Here's the people that we would be our dream investors, but by that time we'll have a lot more practice from the first 2 weeks, and so the sort of pitch would be a lot smoother. And yeah, for us, that process ended up taking about 3 months. We ended up getting introduced to some fantastic investors and got a few term sheets, and ended up signing a term sheet with 776 and Alexis Ohanian, who are some of the best investors literally on the planet. Cannot speak more highly of them, but here's what the video looked like when I got that initial email.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
What do you say? Tell me what you said.
How would you feel if we did the whole 2 million at a 15 million post price seed round? So, lots to think about. I don't even know.
Go.
I think it's done. I gotta make some phone calls.
So obviously a very exciting moment. Someone believed in me in a way that was bigger than anything I experienced before. Someone was willing to put their money where their mouth was and give me a large amount of money to go pursue this idea. So yeah, that was obviously a very exciting start to a journey that I will talk a lot about over the next coming videos, but wanted to start with what fundraising looks like, how we got started, what did we actually do, and yeah, share some memories from that. So I will leave it there and I will get back to work. Got a number of emails, then we'll probably grab some lunch and then see where the rest of LA takes us. But today's gonna be very much a work day, so let's go. Okay, editing all this is gonna be fun, but I am gonna lock in and actually do my job. So we will check back in a bit. All right, about 4 hours of meetings done. Having a very late lunch, Mendocino Farms, missed it dearly. And then heading back into another 3 or so hours of meetings back to back. And then we'll see what happens. Okay, well, it's actually 6:30 now, so that day actually went by incredibly quickly. I'm going to head home, finish up some emails, scavenge for some dinner, and we will see where that leaves us. Maybe this will be another abruptly edited vlog because I still haven't figured out how to make that good yet. So, see you in a bit. Okay, we're gonna eat some dinner and then call it a day. So, Sam, wave goodbye to the vlog. Say goodbye, vlog.